Welcome back to another Big Roofs episode. Thanks for joining me, John. It's just you and I today. Today we're going to talk about how you are using your CRM, which is ProLine, to sell more roofing jobs. Do you want to maybe start with just walking through how you're using ProLine?
Yeah. So we're recording this at the beginning of November,
Election
2020.
day.
I know, election day, election day. A lot of things going on that may change the course of roofing sales for the last quarter of the year. As a roofing contractor, we're not really slowing down very much, but we will in the next 6 weeks. Some people are slowing down for weather. So this is the time where we see a lot of people asking about like they're frustrated with their CRM or they want to know like how to make their business better. They know that they're not utilizing their CRM. I was guilty of that. I used Job Nimbus before. I paid them to help me customize it, and I still felt like Cameron's on my team, and he was with me with Job Nimbus. And then he left for 4 years to be a teacher, and he came back, and we have ProLine. And he's like, "You did all the things you wanted to do with Job Nimbus, and now we're doing them with ProLine. So, what are those things, and why they make his life better? He's just one of our sales reps. And then, how does your CRM help you actually sell roofs? This is what I constantly get questions about. What do you mean your CRM sells roofs? So let's just get into how we use it. I'm excited because you and I are going to get to work together again with our roofing company and I know that there's things that we're not utilizing with ProLine right now, and I'm one of the co-founders. It's crazy, but I know that we're going to make it even better. But I'll just go through what we're doing right now. So all of the lead sources. We've had a lot of success with Thumbtack, with Yelp. Obviously, our web form for our website is one of the things. Google LSA. We don't do any like traditional Google pay-per-click ads, but that can also be utilized as well. Super, super important. However, customers reach out to you that you have an automated speed to lead. Now, a lot of other CRMs have this. What's different about ProLine in the speed to lead part, the responding to customers immediately, it's coming from a local number, a local phone number that's from your team. So if your team sees that and the customer responds to it, they're able to respond in real time. It's much better customer experience. We can go into great detail about how that is effective, but customers, you want to convert those. The leads need to be converted into appointments, and the appointments need to be converted into proposals, and so on and so forth. How am I starting? Is that pretty good start so far?
That's solid. All right. Yeah. So, talking about speed to lead and the importance of speed to lead. Um, the thing is, a lot of systems don't even have the bare bones of speed to lead. Um, and then I'd say a lot of systems will have emails, will have some sort of if you can set it up, which a lot of systems don't even connect to your website or anything, but if you can get it connected to your website, then you can usually do email automations. But then very few have text messaging, and the ones that do, it's usually from some generic phone number, not a team member. So it's not getting like routed back to a team member. Um, and then we're the only ones, to my knowledge, that have that can do that, can drip that out over time. So it's not just about the initial response, but it's also the dripping out of this. So you have the initial speed to lead, and then if they don't immediately book an appointment, continuing to warm up that lead, engage that lead, getting them to book an appointment, and that can go on. That those campaigns in ProLine can continue to hammer those leads for as long as you want them to, 6 months, a year, whatever is going to be most effective.
That's a great point. Okay, so let's use things like you can use instant estimators. Roof Quote Pro is what we use. So there's basically a thank you message from a text message and an email, but the text message is way more used. And when people are using Roof Quote Pro, they know they need a roof or they need an estimate. They just want to get a ballpark estimate. Hey, thanks for using our instant roof estimator. Here's your ballpark quote. Click the link to schedule an inspection. Essentially, that's the message.
Yeah.
Um, why this is important is because you're giving the customer what they want. You're responding with layman's words, just normal stuff. You're just like a normal person would do it. Um, and then you're giving them value by saying, "Hey, I know it's 9:45 at night, but click this link and you can schedule an appointment." That's a huge, huge value for the customer. And then if they don't do it and they're like, "I got to talk to my wife or husband, whatever it is," like you said, the campaign continues. They know they have this problem. We have a solution, and you want to stay top of mind. They're moving on about their day or their night. They're watching Netflix and they go to work the next day. But your roofing business has continued to text them and email them to remind them, hey, you wanted to get a ballpark estimate for your roof. You have sticker shock. It's $20,000. Schedule an inspection. We'd love to help. That's a huge, huge thing for all that speed to lead. I can't stress that enough. I'm glad to know that we have that competitive advantage, and it's wildly effective because a lot of people are hesitant. They get sticker shock, and then they're like, "Well, what do you do? You're not going to manually do it, and if you do, you have to hire somebody to constantly text and call that person that came into your pipeline." So,
Yeah.
speed to lead is wildly massive for converting the lead into an actual appointment.
Yeah. And just to clarify, we do have booking, self-booking functionality, booking pages is what we call them in ProLine. So when you're talking about, oh, you put a link into the speed to lead, that's a feature that we have here at ProLine that again, other CRMs don't have. And so you can use something like Calendly too if you want, but that's no longer necessary with ProLine because we do have that booking, that self-booking that people can do.
Yeah, I mean, I was using Calendly myself. That saves me. It was saving me $1,200 a year. Just that to not have that. ProLine's got it right built in. It's a huge, huge value.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so moving on. Um, you've got the lead converted to an appointment. They scheduled the appointment. We're continuing that nurturing with touch points. We want to send automations. Hey, thanks for scheduling an appointment. Watch this 32-second video, and it's like, hey, what to expect on inspection day. So again, you're further impressing that customer with your professionalism. It's getting to their phone and their email. So they're actually going to most likely open the text message, which is fine. They watch the video, they see the individual sales reps video. That's what we do. We try to do individual sales reps videos for depending on which market they're in and who's assigned to that project. That way the customer knows. I mean, many, many times like, hey, Clay, I saw your video, or hey, Cameron, I saw your video. So you're drastically setting yourself apart because now they feel like they're part of you and you've never even seen their home yet. So another way automations are used that sure they can be done manually, but this is really, really timely because typically people want their inspections done quickly. And if the hours get away from you in a day and then the appointment's the next morning at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, then you didn't send that message. There's just really, really important parts of that customer experience that ProLine helps you guarantee those messages get sent. So we're doing all those things. We're building rapport because of the CRM. These are examples of people always ask, like, how do you sell more roofs? You're building up to selling the roof right now because you're just giving a way better experience. So you get the appointment. We use Company Cam. We take a bunch of pictures. You can do however you want to do inspections. We climb on the roof. We fly drones. That's a whole different part of it. But we have already set ourselves apart from everyone else. We send them the photo inspection report. Typically, we're getting the measurements. If they have confirmed they're looking for a roof replacement, we have integrations with GAF Quick Measure and Eagle View that we work with. And so Kathleen has already built out the majority of the proposal before we even get there. So a lot of times customers are just wanting to see something, and we have the numbers because everything in ProLine, again, the proposal is amazing in ProLine. You don't have to buy a third-party proposal system or proposal tool and integrate that, and then that will break or doesn't work. It's already in ProLine. Again, another way that ProLine helps you sell roofs.
Yeah. We actually, so just to interject there, right now we are on par and in many ways better than any other quoting solution on the market. We are about to launch another quoting update here in about 2-3 weeks that is going to put us way ahead of every other quoting solution in the market. I mean, there won't even be a comparison here by the end of November. So it's not like, oh, good enough. You can get some quoting in here. No, ProLine is hands down going to give you the best quoting experience, and it's built right into the CRM. It doesn't require anything else, like you're saying.
Love that. Okay, so real quick, just so I don't speak out of turn, are the templates for the major shingle manufacturers included with ProLine already? So
Yep.
that's a question I get a lot. It's like, okay, well, now I got it. Can somebody send me their Owens Corning or their CertainTeed or what? It's already in there. We have a
Already
good,
built
better,
those.
best. Yeah, we have all those currently built in there. All you have to do is just update the price list for your market from your supplier, and it's ready to go. You don't have to do anything else. You can. We do extra, custom PDFs in there to show our team and things like that, but it's already there. You're already setting yourself apart from everyone else because you don't have to worry about building the correct layout or anything like that. ProLine already gives it to you. Again, another way that the CRM actually helps you sell roofs.
Yep.
So you've done all these things. You've given this great communication, great inspection report, amazing proposal, accurate measurements. Your goes into your sales process right now. Are you closing one stop close? You can do it with an iPad. I'll say this one thing that's huge that's often complained about is the app. Your phone, the app with ProLine is, to my knowledge, the best of any CRM because of the way ProLine has been built. So all my team love using the app. There's not clunky. It's not, it is, everything's related to how good your internet service is, but it is fantastic as far as usability in the field. You can just sell a job right there. You don't have to, again, sign into another system or have something else that you open up. It's super, super easy because the proposal is already done and the customers can sign right there, or you can present, ask for the sale. They come up with enough objections that you say, totally fine. You can send it right there from the sales rep's phone to their phone. It's in a text message and an email. So again, they've been talking to one of the sales reps. They're building that rapport. They've seen the sales rep's video. They're not having to go search in an email. It's in their text message with a link directly to the proposal. They can easily scroll. It's not some weird format that you have to pinch or open. It's just right there, easy to read for anyone. So it makes it super, super easy. And this is where the real magic happens as far as how does your CRM actually help you sell roofs. So you've done all that work. You've sent the proposal. You've presented the proposal. They're getting 3 quotes, 5 quotes, whatever it is. The sales follow-up is where the magic really happens. You are guaranteed to follow up more than any of your competitors because of what ProLine does. You can set the frequency, the cadence of how often you send automations. You can easily customize. We already give you the templates. It's already
All
included with
pre-written.
ProLine. It's already pre-done in there for you. If you're a roofing contractor, you got all the templates for all the automations. You don't have to build them. Or you can super easily just edit little things that you may want to say, shorten them, lengthen them, whatever you want to do. And that is how we sell tons of our jobs because we're getting contracts after hours or on the weekends when both spouses are together. Like, oh, got another automation from my sales rep. They don't know it's an automation, but Clay just texted me again about the proposal. They're going over it. It's 9:00 at night on a Thursday, and then they sign the contract. This is by far the most of the actual signed contracts that we get. It's usually, I mean, a lot of them get signed at like 7 a.m. because they're like, they woke up, they're getting ready for work, and they're like, we got to make a decision, and they sign it. We'll have a wake up to a signed contract, especially during the hurricane. It's like every day now. So these are
Well,
all the ways that we sell roofs in our roofing business with the CRM.
yeah. Well, I was going to follow up on the sales follow-up stuff because there's a number of things that ProLine does differently. Because it's funny, a few years ago, no other CRM was talking about sales follow up, and now they all say they have sales follow up automations, but they actually haven't changed any of their functionality. They're just spinning it for marketing because we've created such a buzz about how important sales follow up is in your CRM. But we do things very differently. We've started out doing things differently. We still do it differently for a number of different reasons. So when those sales follow-up messages are going out, they're going out by both text message and email. The text message is coming from the sales rep's phone number that the homeowner already knows and is familiar with, and it does not look automated. It looks like the sales rep wrote it out manually on their phone. It's coming from the same phone number. There's nothing about it that looks automated. And so you have that. And then on the email side, it's coming from the sales rep's work email address. So it's coming from the sales rep's work phone number, from the sales rep's work email. And you might think, oh, well, that's obviously you would want to do that, but other systems don't do that. A lot of systems don't even send the email from the sales rep's email, which is crazy to me. But just having it come from the sales rep, their email and phone number in a way that doesn't look or feel automated massively increases the effectiveness of those automations, like by many, many times, because the homeowner is seeing this and like, wow, this sales rep really wants my business, versus if they're getting some sales follow-up automation from like some random phone number, some random email, they're just going to get annoyed. Completely different experience for the homeowner, completely different level of effectiveness and what that actually does for your business. So it's that. And then the other one is how our system drips out those follow-ups for as long, like it can drip it out for 2-3 years. Our default sales follow-up campaigns already pre-written in ProLine when you sign up is over 2 years long. It's like 2.5 years long. So, and you could absolutely build that out further if you want it to be. And then not only is it dripped out, so other systems, they'll just say, oh, when quote is sent, wait 5 days, send this text, send this email, right? But if you want to have another follow-up after that, then you got to have like a whole other automation for it. It's not how ProLine works. ProLine has a campaign, sequential campaign. So it's like this message goes out, then X number of days later, after that first follow-up, send an additional follow-up. Completely different system. Very, very different to set up. It works way better in actual practice. And this is the last thing that we do differently because of how we have those messages in sequential order. Your sales reps can actually go in, they can see the next message that's going to get sent, the next text message, the next email. They can edit those messages on the fly for each individual customer. They can reschedule them. They can say, instead of sending it on Friday, I want it to send next Tuesday instead. And so they have complete control over that for each one of their customers. And so not only do these automations not look like they're automated, but they're really, in a way, not, because yes, you can just let them go, but your sales reps have complete control over whether or not that message sends, what the message says, and when they want that to go out. And so you get the best of both. You get the sales reps, that personal touch, and you get not having to send these things manually. It's really the best of both worlds. And those three things I just listed, nobody else can do that. Absolutely no one else. I know for a fact there's not a single other CRM platform that can do that. And those three things make a massive impact on actually closing deals.
Yep. You talk about like the or the length of time for these follow-ups. Oh, that wouldn't make a difference. I just checked as you were talking. We have a job that 364 days. Like that's how long the follow-up's been going on, signed contract. Like it happens all the time. This was a storm damage from last year's hurricane that they never replaced their roof. Can you imagine? Like, this is what we want to do. We want to snowball all these leads. And currently, we had another from Hurricane Helene, thousands of homes that are in this stagnant nature. They can't qualify for financing. We're working on like getting better financing for everyone so they can have they're actual holes in these homes. Shingles, tar paper, all ripped off, horribly installed shingles anyway. But there's holes in these homes, and they have $11,000 deductibles for $15,000 roofs. And the only way that we're going to actually generate real business and help these customers out is by following up. And ProLine does that. Like I know for a fact that we just sold one from the last hurricane, and we'll continue to sell for months and months and months and months just because of the automated follow-ups from ProLine.
And the um and some people would say, "Oh, well, you're not doing sales right because, you would have just closed them all on the spot if you were doing sales right." But the thing is, I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are at sales. You're not closing 100% of people on the
Yeah,
spot, not even close. And maybe, yeah, and I think, I've talked with a lot of people about this. I think you should absolutely try to close on the spot if you can. As
sure.
long as you're doing it in an ethical way, like absolutely close as many as you can, but there's always going to be that percentage that you don't close. Wouldn't you like to get extra sales out of those ones that you didn't close? Are you really just going to say no to extra money?
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's the thing is like with ProLine selling, even for a very small company that's using ProLine, we're seeing them leverage that sales swap automation to close an extra one or two sales per month. That's life changing. I mean, that's a huge difference in the business and massive. I mean, covers like in your first month, you're basically covering the entire cost of your CRM for the year. Like, what other CRM does that for you?
So true. I just think about this. Like we know, okay, let's go back into like the sales argument of sales closing and one-stop closing. Uh People are they're human error in with salespeople. Maybe the sales rep doesn't have great rapport with this homeowner, or maybe the homeowner is having a bad day. Oftentimes, sales reps are like, I'm never going to sell this job. And we have seen time and time again, because ProLine actually did the automated follow up from the sales rep's number, who they thought wasn't even a good meeting, we sell the job because it guarantees that the sales activity happens, because people all have phone anxiety. They always get tired. They're too busy. They forget to do it. If you guarantee that you're following up with every single homeowner, it's super, super likely that if that person is a difficult customer, then the other two or three or five roofing contractors also had the same experience and they won't follow up. Again, you guaranteed that you did because your CRM guarantees that it's going to follow up. Until they tell you to pound sand, you're going to continue to follow up over and over and over again. And we've seen so many sales that way because it takes the human error and the emotions out of it and just guarantees that the sales activity actually occurs.
Yep. Yep. And so I mean, I think that then kind of segues into another area here, which is just holding your sales team accountable, like holding them, like you set, giving an owner slash management of a roofing business the power and the control to say, this is how we want sales to get run for our business. And then the sales reps are not completely, like, they can customize it as we've gone over, but they now have a framework that's a default that's going to get followed for that sales process and that sales experience. And it's not just on the automation side; it's also in how ProLine um, automatically logs all the text messages, automatically records all the calls, is logging the emails that are going out, and soon we're going to have logging of email replies as well. And so you now automatically in ProLine have way more information and transparency into the sales process and what your sales reps are doing and saying and communicating than you do with any other platform. And so you can both create that structure with the automations and then task automation as well. You can create tasks for your sales reps as well if you want them to like manually call. But then on top of that, you can see there's transparency for owners and managers as to what's going on. So you can absolutely hold your team accountable in a way that just isn't possible anywhere else. And when you can hold your team accountable, that means less mistakes are going to get made. There's less uh less issues with people out there representing your company in a poor way. Like, you have all these things that do make an impact on again, make an impact on sales that ProLine can help with.
Totally agree. There's a
So,
lot of things to do. I mean, this is just a tool in your roofing business, but it drastically can change your life. It changed my life. I know I said at the beginning, but I'm excited to work with you again to increase the efficiency of our team. We didn't even talk about the accountability or the all the help that ProLine does because of the phone numbers. What makes ProLine different? It sells more roofs for your company, and
yep.
the phone system and the powerful automations are the way that that actually happens.
Yep. So there's a few other pieces here we should go over though. So we've talked about sales follow-up now. Let's talk about let's briefly touch on the actual production experience. So after the job is sold, do you have automation set up currently for like during the production process? Are you guys automating communication around that?
We do at a light level. That's one of the things I'd like to review. I know that we could probably be communicating more. I mean, Kathleen's amazing at the communication part, but we do have some things like, hey, we're ordering your material, that kind of thing. We're scheduling your. We have some light things that help guarantee those communication pieces happen.
Yeah. And that may not directly impact sales, but that is all factors of making sure that you have the best possible customer experience, which then is going to turn around and drive referrals. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not direct, but it indirectly still helps there. And then let's talk about review generation, because this is again one of those things that ProLine does that no one else really does. And how do you have that set up? How do you have ProLine generating reviews for you?
So it sends out 5 reminders. So it's coming directly from the sales rep or whoever is assigned to that project. They're going to request once the project gets moved to job completed, then the homeowner, we got a review last night. And this is a job we did a month ago. This is a great example of we all ask for reviews. The customers love us. They shake our hands. You, you know, a lot of times we don't see our customers at the optimal time. It's the end of the day. They're going out for, dinner, whatever it is. And so having these automations coming from the sales rep is massively impactful. Again, you built that trust, you did the roof, they are happy with you. If you have the link in the automation and it's continuing to go out at least 5 times, then way more likely to get the reviews for whichever platform you want.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a number of ProLine users talk about, basically getting like one out of every three, to sometimes even higher of their customers are leaving reviews
Yeah.
just based off automation before they even manually ask for anything. And that is way higher than because there's all these platforms out there that will charge you $300 to $700 a month to automate review generation for you and do texts and emails asking for reviews. Proline just has that built in. Like in many cases, for a lot of people, Proline will be less expensive for the entire system end to end than just one of these review services. And those review services are going to send text messages and emails from a generic phone number that your customers don't recognize. It's going to come and then also from an email, it's probably going to be like a generic like info at email or something. It's going to come from your company as a whole, not from the sales rep that was assigned to the project. And so again, similar to the sales follow-up, it is many, many times more effective to send a request for a review from the sales rep's phone and email with their name saying, hey, I'm your sales rep. I really appreciate you trusting me and my company for this project. It would mean a lot to me. Like it also reflects well on me back to the owner if you would go leave a review. And so people have that personal pull to go leave a review for their sales rep that they have a relationship with. So many more times more effective than like the generic requests that other systems can provide. And then also you're saving a ton of money in the process by not having to pay for one of those services.
Yep. So getting reviews is wildly more effective because of the way it's being delivered directly from the sales rep, and then you're actually saving lots of money. I talked about Calendly saving $1,200 a year. I was using 2 different ones, Broadly and Bird Eye, 2 really big brands that do these things. And I was spending between $200 and $250 a month just on the review generation side of things. So again, you're saving a bunch of money, but you're also way more effective because of all the reasons you said before. Not to mention, the biggest thing is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Google's cracking down on the third party request, and they're able to track some of these systems because it's a third party app. With ProLine, it's coming directly from a cell phone to a link. And so it is a much more organic request for the review, and the link is right there. It's from Google. It's not from other. I mean, I'm not the tech guy, but I know that it works way more with ProLine's review generation review requests than it did with the other platforms that we used.
Yeah, there's a number of things going on there that we do differently, but yeah, I mean, fundamentally, what do you want at the end of the day? You want more reviews, right? And so some of these other platforms have a lot of crazy bells and whistles, but like you're saying, a lot of those things will actually get you in trouble with Google if you use them, because Google doesn't want you using fancy bells and whistles. But what they don't mind you doing is having a personal request from someone that has a personal relationship with the customer. Like that's what it's supposed to be. It's like a personal request to leave a review. Um, and yeah, so it's just highly effective at getting the result that you want anyway, which is getting the Google review. So um yeah, so the reviews super critical, and of course, I mean that's a given. If you get more Google reviews, you're going to get more sales, right? That's you know, we'll state that, just stating the obvious here, but if you Google reviews matter in a massive way, not just because it helps you close deals by having that social proof, but also as we've talked about many times, every time you get one of those Google reviews, you get a little boost of SEO. So you
Yep.
tend to rank a little higher, at least for a time, as long as you're consistently getting Google reviews. And then if you stop getting consistent Google reviews, you tend to get pushed down, and other people that are getting Google reviews get ahead of you. So there's a lot of measurable ways in which that generates sales. Um, One of the last ways, and something that I think you and I should look at for you guys, because I don't think you guys are automating any kind of like invoice follow up or anything like that. You're not nothing for AR. Do you guys have anything in place right now for that?
Not for the final invoice. One thing I do love is the automatic deposit invoice. I love
Yep.
that. It's a huge
Yep.
thing. Um, it helps you for so many things to guarantee that the customer actually gets the deposit invoice.
Yep.
But for the final invoice, we actually have it's more nuanced, and so we have a process to do a checklist to make sure, and then we'll move that project to job completed, and then we'll have a task for Tisha to send the invoice or whoever's assigned to it.
Yep. Um, So this is I think this is an expectation now with CRMs, but we do have a great invoicing system. It's very simple, very clean, shows the customer exactly what they owe, and then gives them you can turn these on and off, but it has instructions for card or cash payment. It has ACH payments and credit card payments. So you're giving lots of different options for payments. But I think one thing that is it's not entirely unique, but it is something that's not in a lot of CRMs, is again, when you're sending that invoice, it's getting sent by both email and text message. It can come from the sales rep if you want it to come from the sales rep, but I think, usually you probably would have someone who's responsible for AR. I think you probably have
Yeah,
Kathleen or
Tisha, we
Tisha.
we like that Tisha does it because she's kind of like our enforcer. But it also it becomes less emotional for Tisha and for the homeowner. The homeowner knows there's not really an emotional connection. The job has been done. They have signed off on the job. They know it's completed from the sales rep.
Yep.
All the people they've been talking to the whole time. Now it comes with billing, and it's our accounts receivable so low because of the way this process is. I mean, we're getting paid so much faster. We made so many mistakes for years and years and years. This process of having a person that is not involved in the sales or production process and having somebody who is just the back end. She's the one who's like, hey, I see here. She's reviewing all the company cam pictures that are in ProLine already. She understands they've already received. She sees all the communication from the whole team. So she's not going to make
All
a
logged.
mistake. And she can like refer back to the homeowner. Hey, I saw that you received this picture of the before and after. How is everything with the project? She's able to continue that customer experience, but at the same time, like, it's time to pay, and you're we just there's just very little pushback because now they know that, like, it's time to pay the bill.
Yeah. Minimizing friction. So, and that's why I've seen in most cases, you do want, because you have around the same time, you're going to have the sales rep asking for the review. So better to leave that more emotional connection with the sales rep
Mm-hmm.
intact, have them ask for the review while you have somebody else asking for payment. And then like making sure that process is really low friction, both in the payment methods that you're offering, but also sending it. Like an email can get easily lost.
Yep.
And so you still want to send an email, but the fact that we're sending out invoices, ProLine sends out invoices by text message as well, it's going to make a big impact on just the number of people that see it, and like you're still going to have to push them to pay it in many cases, but at least they're way more likely to see it. The open rate on text messages is super high, in the nine. I mean, maybe a little bit lower right now because of the election, but
Sure.
yeah, in general, text message deliverability and open rates are way higher than email. So, and that's what you want, because I think this is the one of the pieces that gets forgotten a lot is, just because you made a sale doesn't mean that the money is what matters. So you have to actually get all the way to getting paid before that sale has an impact on your business and your life. And so, yeah, that making sure that AR gets collected is critical, and making sure you have a system that can support you in that is critical.
Yep. Side note, I mean, it's only been a few months since we've been doing this, but as opposed to meeting once a month with Tisha to go over all accounts receivable and accounts payable, we meet every single Thursday. And so I know some people do this, but we just never did it. And it's made a massive impact because we're able to identify potential issues and friction points with certain customers and understand, the longer it goes on, the less likely you're getting paid in a expedited way. So you want to make sure that again, it's a good customer experience. Like they want to get an invoice. And if you're not reviewing all your projects every single week, you may be sending an invoice days later, and then that's when it just starts to snowball the wrong way. You have all this accounts receivable again, like you said, you're trying to collect the money. That's what affects your life.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. Well, I think this has been a really good overview of how you're leveraging ProLine, how I see a lot of um, our other users leveraging ProLine to similar deals. I mean, we could go on forever about all the different features that ProLine has, to help with all the different aspects of the process, from production, ordering, like all of that stuff. But I think in most of those cases, we can match what the other CRMs provide. We want to provide a similar experience to them. And we're not necessarily doing anything groundbreaking there, but we are meeting or surpassing what everybody else can do on those fronts. But what we've discussed here with the communication and the automation and the campaigns, sequences, and having it come from the sales rep, that's the stuff that closes deals. And that's where ProLine is really different from anything else that's out there.
Totally agree.
So, all right. Well, it's a good chat. Thanks for going over that with me today, John. And we'll wrap up there. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye, everybody.